Tubular.
Get out.
Alright, this
All
has
right.
been a Ruckus and The Menace, episode number 160. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
This is the Ruckus and the Menace.
Challenge accepted. No.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games!
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
There you go.
There it is.
There's a winner. Look at that.
Back.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you,
Ruckus and the Menace fam, how's it going? You are listening to episode number 160 of the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I'm Spence the Menace.
And I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
And on this episode, we get right down to business as we kick it off with the GBU
Aw,
and
man.
a color commentary to follow. Go into our stud and dud of the week, the high heat, the film room, and close it out with some things we've been currently watching and playing. Ruckus, how things been here this past week?
Honestly, weird.
Bloody.
Because of the NFL stuff that's happening, and just the world in general is weird. We'll get
We
into
could
it
have
later.
said that any other day of the week. We could have even said that any other episode, that the world is weird, and we know that that would have completely made sense.
Tubular.
Get out.
Alright, this has
Alright.
been a Ruckus and the Menace, episode number 160. No, I'm just kidding.
No. We're not shutting it down that quickly.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Try me. I'm just f***ing around.
Yeah. You're about to find out real quick if you're not careful. All right, so now we get into the Eastwood segment with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yep, and
Ruckus, what is our great news for us this week?
Ruckus is deciding to take his talents to the NHL and realize why the NHL is actually a good sport instead of just something dumb. Where I think in general, this is a great time to get into more of the culture of sports, just how it is.
Or even have like a longer, or maybe even have like a longer life. I mean, I already know that I still plan to try and keep some tabs on the NBA, college basketball. We definitely need to eventually have Lom on here to talk hoops, to kind of also have an extra set of ears. And we pretty much have the NFL and even to some degree some Major League Baseball on a little bit more of a hold. I'd say we definitely have the NFL on hold. I also don't mind like keeping an eye on things for like even the sports that don't get as much recognition, like internationally, soccer. I mean, I've spent this past weekend, of course, going to a couple of different events involving high school football and soccer in my area. But at the same time, I mean, that's just kind of how I've rolled. But our bad this week is definitely something we both are blasting. Take it away, Ruckus.
So Electronic Arts, also known as EA, is extending its contract with the National Football League for the exclusive rights for Madden. So, what that means is they have their partnership until 2030, or whenever the contract is extended, So they could extend it later depending on how the performance is doing. But the problem with this is Madden NFL, the franchise, has not had much. They've been kind of negligent towards the players, and that's an understatement. But anyway, Spennis, go ahead.
I am gonna say that the biggest thing that EA needs to be blasted for going into this extension for the Madden franchise, especially over the last 15 years, complacency. They have been complacent and have been left to just stay put in where they're at. College football, in its return, has taken more risks and done more correctly than what EA has put in any sort of energy-wise into Madden. Simple as that.
Yep.
And I have found myself enjoying the college football franchise of it more than Madden, because I believe college football has provided a deeper sense of gameplay. Madden sometimes it almost feels like it can get a little too easy, but college football, it forces you to have to be creative. The wear and tear system that they brought in from the jump, and now being able to do a lot more with it, and season-long wear and tear, career-long wear and tear for their college career, makes having to be more economical with your decisions even more important. I just think EA has done more with the college football franchise that they're almost trying to test ride into Madden the very next year, which is a year too late. And the downright ugly will set up the color commentary, as there is an NBA gambling scandal involving the arrests of Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones. So with the Terry Rozier side of it, Rozier had a particular game where he had initially gotten hurt, or hurt in quotes, and there was some unusual betting patterns involving games with Terry Rozier in them. It was a part of the same investigation that led to Jonte Porter's lifetime suspension, and he wasn't charged with a crime, no accusation of wrongdoing. They cleared him, but now he has since been arrested in an FBI investigation of illegal gambling on top of that. Rozier was accused of participating in stuff under private insider. Billups was charged with in a separate indictment alleging a wide-ranging scheme to rig underground poker games. And then Damon Jones was also involved as far as sports bets. So and there was another article I saw where it included like rigged tables and being able to see different things and different sides to have that come along. And it moves us on to our...
What if I quickly played the Sopranos theme song?
Let's not get a copyright strike for this episode, please. But our color commentary segment is, we're gonna unpack it here. So, a famous case in 2018 called Murphy versus NCAA ultimately repealed the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act of 1992 that prohibited sports gambling with a few exceptions. This made the legalization of sports betting a reserved power in the government. What has made this even more of an issue is players in pro and college sports are doing this sports betting, even with numerous issues and controversies of them betting on their own team. There's been a lot of player heckling over sports bets and everything else. Some notable scandals ever since this has come along was Calvin Ridley's suspension and arrest of Kayshon Boutte for his bets during his time at LSU, the issue involving Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, the lifetime banning of Jonte Porter from the NBA, Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase scandals during the baseball season, and now this recent report with Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones. So, the main question we have here is, do we ultimately think that the legalization of sports betting has been a good thing? Or have the many scandals that have happened over these past close to 8 years in sports and all the other incidents show more of how the leagues have done a terrible job of creating ways to police it, as a good amount of states have legalized it?
I think it's definitely a gray area as far as just like how you police it. I think in general it's not a good idea for a player that is playing that role to have control over whether or not they're going to do great in a game or not, and screw over the person that is like betting on that. Like, that's not fun. I'm not a huge fan of gambling. Like, it's fun to play like for free and just mess around in a video game and do that like in Red Dead Redemption or something, but
Or
like,
even if you're doing something like a no purchase necessary for a prize.
right. I just think it's kind of stupid right now.
I believe that sports betting has been a net negative.
Correct.
A net negative in the sense of the integrity of sport.
Do you think politics has also had a role in that too?
Politics is its own separate, different can of worms. Politics is a separate can of worms in this case.
Okay.
It's still a net negative. But it's a net negative for different reasons.
Yeah.
We're talking about sports betting.
Yeah.
Politics aside, but where I'm saying that sports betting has been more of a net negative has been more in that sense of, okay, these leagues had a whole bunch of time to try and start finding ways to police this ever since this act came about. And they got too far behind the eight ball. So people decided to mess around, try and see what they could get away with. And those players and people involved eventually found out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you then all of a sudden have these people harassing players, and it has stooped down to the point as low as it has been with college athletes. These players are student athletes.
Yep.
And they are dealing with uncanny amounts of fanatical harassment over just missing like a parlay.
Imagine being a top end athlete and doing the best you can, and if you screw something up, then some fans just like, you know what? Screw you. I hope you die and your family dies too. But also, something else happening. Like, it's unnecessary.
And I am one that does not sport bet because I take the integrity of the game, the integrity of the sport, and just how the game is played into more of a care. I care more about that. And on that note, we now can move on to our stud and dud of the week. Ruckus, take it away.
So for my stud, I have, which is Lamar Jackson, owning up for making his team morale better in the clubhouse by not only realizing that yes, he is missed a few games due to a oblique injury and leg injury stuff.
That was it was a hamstring. It was a hamstring.
So him owning up to that, but also just bringing the morale back from what happened between them, because he got rolled over by the Kansas City Chiefs, but also it's just had some issues. But it's good for him to bring the morale back for the team and get them back to where they need to be. My dud this week, I have Adrian Pearson for his driving while intoxicated vendetta of falling asleep in his vehicle after a accident that happened. Go ahead, Svenis.
Okay, so I am going to start with my stud this week, and I am going to go into the NFL route and talk about one of the quarterbacks in Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco. And it was such a relatable thing in that he basically was keeping it real about being away from family, eating dinner on his own, and having a particular quote go viral for the most wholesome and relatable thing. That quote being, "I used to see guys sitting at the bar by themselves eating, and I used to feel so bad for them. But now I realize that dude was in heaven." As in, pretty much it's saying that, and now I realize that dude was in heaven. So it's kind of just his way of being a completely. I love that relatability when it comes to an NFL quarterback, because these quarterbacks are making millions of dollars. So you don't necessarily get to see as much of the player talking at like a solid human level that we would think in a way that we would think as just being like the average person. And the quote got a little bit of a laugh from the people in the press conference, but it's like it was in such a way that we've all probably been there at some point, whether it be actually in the cafeteria at a school or college or even at a bar.
It could be anywhere. You never know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. But my dud this week is the AA Ron who decided to choose to have Brad Paisley sing the national anthem for a World Series game. Now, this is because as Game 3 was going on, and do not get me wrong, the game on Monday night, Game 3 of the World Series, that game was an instant classic for 18 innings.
Yes, it was.
Do not get that twisted. Don't get that twisted.
I won't.
But the other night, that was the fourth time that he has sang the national anthem for a World Series game, and those particular games have gone into extra innings. This is the second time out of those four that the game has also gone into 18 innings. The last one was 2018 with the do damage Red Sox and the Dodgers. So Brad Paisley has just been simply of like, if you want your game to go extra long and people to have their money's worth by the end of the night, as late as it is, no matter what, I don't care if you're on the West Coast. That is 2:00 in the morning here on the East Coast. It may be 11 p.m. out that way, but no, we haven't none of that. We East Coast folk had to get some shut-eye for the work the next day. So please, MLB for next year, for the love of God, if you don't want a game to go into extra innings, please do not have Brad Paisley up there on the stage for the national anthem. Signed, sincerely, a fellow West Virginian. Sorry, Brad Paisley, had to do it. All right, and on that note, we now can move on to the high heat, where we will break down week 8 of the NFL season. And this week is one of those Bimageddon NFL weeks, as 6 teams were on bye. Those teams were the Detroit Lions, Las Vegas Raiders, LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks, and Jacksonville Jaguars.
Which means that Ruckus was screwed out of his fantasy. Anyways, let's just get through it.
Well, the first game that I have on the list is the Thursday nighter. The Chargers defeating the Vikings 37-10. And I am mentioning the Minnesota Vikings here. The injuries to quarterbacks for the Vikings have slowed down the offense significantly, and the performance defensively has not covered up that flaw in any sense as to what it had previously.
Bernard did a good job for what it's worth, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. The next one that we will throw out there is Eagles Giants, and I'm going to let Ruckus have a little bit of a RIP to the football season of probably one of the most entertaining rookies from this season.
Alright, so the Creatine Caucasians are now in a identity crisis where it becomes the just in general Caucasians, because Dart Simpson is just a white boy that is just throwing the ball wherever he wants to and doing a great job of it, whereas Cam Skidaboo decided it was a great idea for his leg to be dislocated, his ankle, I should say, but at the same time, it sucks that he decided, or not he decided, it sucks that like, the ankle that he injured happened, and I apologize to Cam Skidaboo, but it sucks for people that thought it was a great idea to keep him as a long time running back, because a lot of people probably thought in their fantasy picks that he would be the long run pick, but of course that is not the case. I feel bad for the Giants, honestly. I don't know who they're gonna get it.
Is brutal. This injury is absolutely brutal. And the athlete that I think, the NFL player that I think the closest to what this injury truly is I believe this is similar to what Chris Godwin is just now starting to come back from. In a similar fashion.
Yeah.
And I am going to cheat a little bit on this next thing and move the Sunday night game up in this instance, because this is insane. The Jets defeat the Bengals 39-38, and the Packers beat the Steelers 35-25. But these massive outbursts of fourth quarter offense over the last 2 weeks, Denver scoring 33 last week, and the Jets having 23, and the Packers scoring 21 in the fourth quarter this week, are completely insane. Like, how are we How are we having games where teams are doing so well in the first 3 quarters, and all of a sudden, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Bo Nix all of a sudden turn into Tim Tebow for a quarter? They go into fourth quarter Tim Tebow mode, and all of a sudden they go from being down a whole bunch of points to winning.
Yep.
I mean, granted that the Jets won because Brees Lightning threw the touchdown and not Justin Fields, but that digression aside, the next game I have is the Dolphins beating the Falcons 34-10 with Tua throwing 4 touchdown passes. However, my take is about the Atlanta Falcons, that I am concerned about the identity or lack thereof of the Falcons quarterback situation. Even with Atlanta playing without Drake London, Penix has been inconsistent, and Kirk was not great out there in this one. And the next one I have is another 2-1. The Bills defeating the Panthers 40-9, and the Ravens defeating the Bears 30-16. And saying that a little bye week has done both of these teams some good. Both of them had bye weeks last week, 2 weeks to prepare for this game and kind of get some things rested and recovered. And they look like they're kind of putting themselves back together again. The Texans defeat the 49ers 26-15. And I say that it feels good to have C.J. Stroud play well and not have to force target to key receivers who were out with injuries. There were 10 different receivers targeted, and 9 of those 10 had at least one catch. The Colts defeat the Titans 38-14. And Ruckus, did you have Jonathan Taylor on your MVP board for this season going in?
How about no?
I thought it was possible, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. Jonathan Taylor is one of those backs that I think always seems like it has potential to go off. But I was not expecting him to be the major touchdown scorer that he is, pretty much about close to 1,000 yards halfway through the season. I think if Jonathan Taylor gets another really, really good stretch, maybe even a 200-yard game somewhere in there, 2,000 is not out of reach. Maybe 2 200-yard games if he can get them. And then last but not least, the hostility in the podcast game, but I think it was more of a consensus of the podcast game, as the Chiefs defeat the Commanders 28-7. And my take on the Commanders side of it is that the season is fading fast, mostly with injuries, and a schedule that has very limited signs of slowing down in terms of difficulty as the backstretch begins for us with the Seahawks and Lions.
I think that's fair. That's kind of why I was scratching my head a little bit with Von Miller being signed by the Commanders, but I mean, it is what it is. You guys are just trying to find more talent, but at the same time, you guys had your spurts, and I thought, okay, Luke McCaffrey had a hand in that.
Oh, we were doing really good in the first half. We were hanging around in the first half.
Yeah,
then the second half happened.
Yeah, and the second half was bad to the bone, and I'm just like, geez, like I don't know how to help you there.
As soon as that first big play to Travis Kelce occurred in the second half, I'm like, we have completely fallen off the wagon.
I went to bed when it went 21-3. I was just like, okay, I get the or not 21-3, 21-7. I was just like, I'm good. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm like, as soon as Kelce caught the one and was pushed out of bounds at the 10, I'm like, Yeah, this defense is now no longer in sync. Like we're gonna continue to fall flat on our faces at this point.
Yep.
And Ruckus, be prepared to make your picks, as the next segment we have is the film room. And I pick up a little bit of points this week, as now my lead has increased to 12, as I am now at 54. The Ruckus is 42.
Yes, sir.
And the first game we have going on, the world's largest cocktail party, Georgia, Florida. Who you got?
I'm going go dogs, Georgia, UGA.
I'm taking Georgia here as well. Texas Tech, Kansas State.
Every man a Wildcat. Don't you forget it. Kansas State, EMA.
I'm taking the Red Raiders here. I think the Red Raiders are. Kansas State's coming in hot after a real slow start, but I think Texas Tech is going to show that they're for real and very well could win the Big 12. Oklahoma versus Tennessee.
I say Boomer! Sooner!
I ain't taking them. I am taking good old Rocky Top in Tennessee
Sooner.
for this one.
I'm going Sooners. Oklahoma.
And then the last one here is Cincinnati versus Utah.
I'm going with the Bearcats because of Travis Kelce and just the hurt that the Bearcats can probably do against Utah. Take them down!
I also am I'm also going to take the Bearcats here. Panthers, Packers in the NFL.
Packers for the win.
Yep, I am taking the Packers here as well. Colts, Steelers.
Ooh. I'm going to take Steelers because they know what they're doing. The Colts, it's more like they just kind of analyze what they see and just don't really do anything else about it. So, I'm picking Steelers because I think the Steelers have more talent.
Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. I am taking the Colts and Indiana Jones taking the win.
Dude, Indiana Jones is going to get demolished by that big ass rock, so it's hard to ruin your parade there, but
Hold up. You are saying that Pittsburgh is going to defensively shut that team down when they have given up a combined total of 68 points over their last 2 games.
You're telling me you've
Both
never
of them
seen a
being
mishap
losses.
with any Jones show things where they
No, I'm
rolled
catching
over?
on with that. I'm catching on with where you're going with that, but I'm saying that you're like, I'm talking Indiana Jones being that Daniel Jones is going to have a good game.
We'll see.
That was why I did that, is because of Daniel Indiana Jones.
And that's why I was kind of like, oh no. I don't know about Daniel Jones. Being that,
Broncos Texans is the next game.
I'm going to go with the Broncos because Bo Nix has what it takes, and yes, he has had some ups and downs this season, but I think he's better than CJ Stroud, to be honest.
It is a little scary that Patrick Surtain could be out for a good while with a pectoral strain. But I'm gonna say this in the terms of a former cringe Broncos quarterback. Broncos country, let's ride. Taking
No,
the Broncos.
you gotta say, let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride. Anyways,
I just was doing it once for the effect. Chiefs Bills.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Before we get some certain things in too much of something crazy going on here. This game is at Orchard Park.
Okay. Your point?
I'm taking the Bills at home.
More like Haley Seinfeld is probably going to take the home victory because, honestly, I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't think the Bills are going to win because they've had some bad luck with their fourth down plays that they try to do with their field goals, especially with the wide rights and other things. You never know. And I feel like with the Chiefs, they're on a good run, and the Bills defense, no mas. Anyways.
And the Bills just had a really good bounce back game against a team that is playing definitely. I'll say a team that is improving with Carolina,
Right.
but nowhere near the level. But I'm going to say this: if the Chiefs are going to do anything, they are going to have to keep James Cook in check, because if he starts torching up that defense and
Yeah, they're going to get effed in the
and shoving it up, chopping through with jukes. Oh yeah, that's going to be a signature dish made from buffalo wings that are going to be served to the Chiefs. And the last one here, Seahawks Commanders.
I think the Commanders got this one. The Seahawks, I don't think so.
I love what the potential of what we could do with a win, especially at home where we need it. Especially because Seattle has a terrible time traveling east. But at the same time, what could be sweeter than actually taking it? Especially if we can have Jaden Daniels back. Give me the Commanders. Give me my own squad, because I was almost ready to turn and say that was going to be Seattle. But I'm like, nah, give me my own squad. Give me my own squad. I think we got a chance. Even with the 5-2 Seahawks, we need a victory somewhere along the way.
Okay. You want me to end
And
it
now
off?
we move on to what we've been watching and playing this week over this time in our Lights Camera Action segment. Ruckus?
All right. So I'm gonna start with my watching. Matt McCusker, the one half co-host of the Matt and Shane Secret Show podcast. Matt McCusker has a comedy special on Netflix that's actually kind of funny. Not gonna lie, he goes into some commentary, but I just thought he was a funny dude, and I liked watching and listening to it. Playing, I've been today I played some Battlefield 6 Gambit. It felt like Battlefield 6 made their own version of the game The Finals, which is like a destructive environment game where you try to do objective work and play the mode as it goes. And that's kind of what Gambit is here, where you have different game modes. There's one where you had to like get a bunch of links and other objectives going that are like shorter than what Conquest would be. There's also like trying to conquer areas. There's all sorts of things, but it's a new mode. I haven't played much of it, but from what I played, it's pretty interesting and I like it. Other than that, they're adding more and more content for now. I would download it and try it yourself if you're unsure if it's good or not. I think it's pretty damn awesome. Other than that, Spence, go ahead.
I have been watching 99 to Beat on my own, which is the little minute to win it style ridiculous challenge type game where the goal is don't finish last. And I've been watching that, kind of catching up. I'm about a couple episodes in. And then as far as what I've been playing, I've been continuing a little bit on Ghost of Yotei and have mostly been continuing on Pokemon Legends ZA, which has been a massive amount of fun and full of stuff that even though you're in like one small little space, it's still super diverse of like, I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming at me. Now I gotta eventually gonna get my own creature out there to actually start running shot. And I'm just hitting things like a truck. And it has its own fun. I'm probably about a little over halfway to about 2/3 of the way through that one. I think Yotei, I'm probably only barely over halfway, like barely at the halfway point. I'm probably nowhere close, but that game is huge. And on that note, that will do it for the Ruckus and the Menace podcast, episode number 160. I'm Ruckus the Menace.
And I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Until the next one, hugs and hand pounds, everybody.